Welcome, I want to try and repair this piece of test gear. If you want to see it happen, stick around. Right, here we go, let's get into it. Oh wait, there's some more. Oh, they're everywhere. Well packaged, but peanuts are a pain. So, what's in here? Ooh, looks like HP, but is it? Let's get this out of the way. Oh, my carpet's a mess now. Wife only vacuumed it yesterday. She's going to tell me off. Alright, just don't tell her. Oh, she'll notice. Anyway, okay. Right, any guesses what it is? It's a HP pulse generator. Switch feels kind of okay. It was a little bit stuck. Switches don't feel the best there. Could have used a bit of a clean. It's a pretty old thing. I'm not quite sure what year it is. Okay, well, controls seem to be at least moving. They're not seized up or anything. So yeah, I thought I'd get a pulse generator because, you know, why not? Yeah, push the make button, that's fine. So that's the output. It's got trigger gating as well, true input. I suppose it means you can cascade them. If you wanted to get in and out, you could cascade a few units and do a sequence or something. Possible. That switch there is broken. That could be a problem. Especially with this many positions. Yes, well, it's going to be interesting, isn't it? 75, yeah, I think that's actually what I paid for. Actually, it was $75 US. I think that's what I paid. Line selectors, let's do this now before I forget about it, eh? So I want 220 volt. Or 240 volt, that one. I want it that one. Let's get something. Use one of these. I'll do fine. So, in the position here, it's doing 240 or 220 volts, so I want 240, which is fine. Well, should we try powering it up? And to see what kind of life we get out of it, or shall I open it first? Even that switch is not feeling the best. Well, I think I might open it first. How do we get this apart? It looks like it lifts off this way. There's a pair of screws missing there. It's an interesting case design. I've never seen them come off that way before. Oh well, here's what it is. Here we go. There's my control boards. Visually, looks kind of alright. Can't see anything obvious on there. Always like to try and open things up if I can and have a look and just make sure there's nothing badly wrong with it. Nothing's floating around inside, that kind of thing. Usually you can hear it, but I don't always put them apart and have a look before I turn the things on. It's a bit of a Dave thing, isn't it? You know, don't turn it on, pull it apart. Yeah, well, I kind of do that, but it's not 100%. Let's see what this side looks like. I'll have to go back to the listing actually and have a look at those issues it has with the front panel. Got big caps in there. 1000 microfarad, 40 volt. Big heatsink on those transistors there. They are soldered directly in, so it's not like they're falling out or anything. And front panel controls there. Where's that switch? It's right there. So switch is here. So trying to get that apart is going to be interesting. So it's screw missing. Someone's already had this thing apart. So there's a screw missing there as well. You got these a couple of wires here which aren't connected up just here. See those hanging off? Yeah, someone's been messing with this. Could be a more interesting repair than I thought. I was hoping for something simple. Oh well, it's a project, that's what it's meant for. It's just a bit more involved than I thought it was going to be, the looks of it. You know, there's wires not attached. I mean, which way do they go? I don't know. I don't know, where's it go to? It goes through to the front panel there, goes through the panel. Maybe it's to that button. Maybe it's to that. Interesting, those stickers have been taken off. Wonder why. Always interesting when you start looking at the history of things, like, you know, why have things been done a certain way, what's happened to them, who's been screwing with it, that kind of thing. Anyway, that's a project. I'm going to have to look into this now and pull the manual out and start trying to figure out what's going on with it. But it's a shame about that switch. That's the main thing I'm worried about, is that switch there being broken off. The other things are fine, it's a knob cover, so what, you guys just change a knob, you know, it won't match, but yeah, it doesn't really matter that much. I mean, the fact that these aren't pointing to the right places means these have been off. None of them are really going to the right places, they're all going to different places. Like, you turn them all the way around, they're all still in different places. Someone's just shoved them all back on again, and roughly just like, yeah. So all these have been off, someone's had this front panel apart. Maybe because of that switch. Maybe I couldn't get another one, I don't know. So, right, that's enough waffling. Right, well, as you can see, I've already got the covers off this thing. I did this thing in the mailbag video, and I might even attach that footage before this piece, we'll see. Anyway, so if you look and go, oh, the covers aren't on it already, because I've already done a bit of a coverage in the mailbag. Alright, so you can see it's pretty dirty. I've noticed that some of these knobs, like this one's burnt, that's bent. That's okay, that one's slightly bent. It's got the cover missing. None of them in the right places, all of them are in the wrong place. So someone's had this thing apart and had the front cover off. It's got a broken switch here, so I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do about that. I might have to buy another unit and just use it for parts. Although this is supposed to be parts unit, so who knows. I might be able to 3D print a new lever. I will have to see how that works out. Depends how fragile it is and that sort of stuff. Whether it's easy to replace it, I don't know. Or who knows, maybe the switch is completely missing. I just don't know. So I'm going to try plugging power in and we'll see what happens first and see if it's got any kind of life when any smoke comes out, that kind of thing. And because there's always a chance of smoke coming out, I have to record it. So I've already changed the voltages on the back here to be in the 200 volt range, so it's 240 volt, that's what switches on the right is for. The manual I've got is for a later version and the switches are side by side instead of one above the other. And this is where the serial number is supposed to be, right there. So it's because it's missing, I actually don't have a clue which version this is, at least at this stage. There's probably going to be clues in there for checking out, like comparing it to the manual and see what changes in the manual which match up to this unit, that kind of thing. But based on this, I think it's one of the very early units, and I think they came out in 1977, so they're pretty old. They're still around and they're still fetching good prices. I picked this one up fairly cheaply because it was only you know, unknown condition, as in certainly not complete, untested, so we don't know what we're going to get. It could go bang, it could be fine. Haven't checked the fuse yet, but let's plug power in and see if any smoke comes out. Turn the switch on. Well, nothing yet. Okay. Well, there's a power switch on the front here, which I need to push. Let's see if that does anything. No smoke. It hasn't got any kind of indicators on it. Maybe, I don't know, is that supposed to be a power indicator just there? LED? I don't know. Well, let's check the fuse. So it does seem to be completely dead. See if there was actually a fuse in there. There might not be one. Let's get a screwdriver. There was a fuse, and it doesn't appear to be blown. 1 amp fuse, which is probably wrong for that. Let's just do a basic little check to make sure a fuse isn't actually blown. Sometimes they can look fine, but they're not. Could be faulty, come off the inside, sort of thing. And detach inside. Sounder. Yeah, that's okay. Fuse is fine. So shut that back in again. So it just doesn't power up. Why not? At least there's no indicator on the front. So while I've got this out, I might as well do voltage measurements. It's always the first thing to do. I haven't read the manual yet. I do have an electronic copy of the manual. This board here is power supply and output. Just from visually looking at it, all the main power supply stuff is all there, and it goes that way. Okay, so you've got the AC input right there. There's the back of the switches, which also goes to the transformer. Transformer then feeds onto this board here, and it looks like it's got a dual tap transformer. There's an orange pair and a purple pair, so I think that it's just dual tap. Yeah, the other wiring's unrelated to that. So on here it's got a plus 17 volt marking there. I think I did see a minus 17 volts somewhere too. There we go, it's minus 17 down there as well. So in theory, if they are tied together, I should measure across those and get 34 volts. So let's turn it back on and then have a look. See if we get anything. Nothing at all. Absolutely nothing. Am I in the wrong place? I think so. So there's absolutely no power here. So why not? So because someone has had this thing apart, you never quite know what you're going to be dealing with. There's a power switch there, so it looks like it's switching both phases. So if I, with the switch in, I should be able to measure AC across that switch. AC. And let's see if I can measure it across there. Oh, hold on. I'll turn the power back on over here first, won't I? That'd be sensible. Don't know. Right, we'll do these checks again. AC there. Yes, okay, you've got AC there. Let's go back to the power supply again. I turned it off when I was checking that fuse. Forgot. That's dumb. Alright, DC. Let's try this again over here. 34 volts. So yes, you do have plus and minus rails. And they're in spec by the looks of that. So can I do a ground reference on this and see if I've got a positive that way? Yes I do. 17 exactly. Minus 17, slightly under, but that's okay. So, okay, power supply appears to at least be functioning. So, in a way it's a shame because it would be nice to have a simple fix. But it could just be a bad indicator on the front panel. I really don't know. See, there's no LED lighting up there. Nothing. So, does it have an output? Oh, I don't know. Might hook up to a scope and have a look and see what anything's coming out of it. Well, you can't see this right now, but I've got it hooked up to the scope and there is some kind of output. I'll just play around this. This is the switch here. I can just get into it. I'll just push it all the way down. No, yeah, I'm going to bring it back up again. But the output isn't really behaving that well. Turned all the way up, it's not doing the voltage it should be doing. And I've got it set to 50 millivolts of vision, and I'm getting about 200 millivolts peak to peak. So it's not there. But these controls are working. That's moving one of the edges around. That's moving another edge around. It's doing some stuff. That's kind of working. So some things are changing, but a lot of it just isn't right. It's supposed to do square wave over here and that isn't happening. If I adjust this, I'm getting different wave pulses, different pulse rates. So it is kind of working in some ways, but it isn't really the best. It's doing something, but it seems to be completely wrong. On this basic fiddling around with these, trying to see if I can determine if there's anything obvious going on. At the moment there isn't. This offset doesn't seem to work. I tried that. Although now it seems to have gone offset. something going on. Maybe it is kind of working now. I don't know, but that wasn't working before. So I don't know, maybe there's something going on. It's got a lot of problems. It definitely doesn't work properly. Exactly what I need to do to get it to work properly, I don't know yet. There are some bits not plugged in the front. I think it's just for this button here, which isn't used unless you push it pretty much, so I think it's probably okay anyway. But that switch is there, it's just got the lever part is broken off it. So maybe I should just pull the thing apart and try and pull it apart and clean all the controls up. Maybe straighten the knobs up if I can. Don't like having things bent like that. If I can straighten them without breaking them off, it'd be right. And I have to see if I can do something with the switch. Obviously not having the switch on there is kind of important. No, it doesn't seem to be doing anything. And these are push-pull, eh? Sometimes they're push-pull switches. Not in this case. Bit of a shame. It's in a bad way, but it is doing something. There is some kind of life in it, but it just isn't the life that it should be doing. The fact that all these knobs are in the wrong places is a big giveaway. Someone's been pulling this thing apart already and trying to, you know, mess around with it. Amplitude control is kind of working, but and it is even each way, but the voltage is completely out of whack. It's nowhere near where it should be. So yeah, it's got some problems, alright. Alright, so I've already pulled the front panel of this thing and given it a clean up, and when I was doing that I noticed a broken wire. So I actually think I've already found the fault. Now I've already got this set up and I've played around a little bit, and I'm pretty sure I'm right there. Okay, so excuse the messy bench, I really need to put this mailbag stuff away, but I haven't got around to it yet. So just in here there's this wire that comes from the pot on the front here, which is a level pot, I think it is, yep. And there's like a shielded cable comes down, and just there is a center conductor, and it's not attached. Alright, and I wiggle it around, and sometimes I get the scope trays coming up. Here we go. Come back. So if I actually connect it up, push it so it's connected, we have a trace. So it looks like I've actually found the fault already, and I think it was just that broken wire. So that someone has had this front panel off because it's got this broken slider in there, which I need to repair. I need to put it all apart again to do that. What I've actually done is pulled this front section out. It's got 4 screws, and that can then come out a little bit, and you can get to the back of the controls and you can clean the controls. But I actually need to separate the whole lot by taking all the knobs off and unplug everything off the back, which is a bit more involved, which will allow me to get to that and try and make a new slider piece to fix that piece which is broken off. But as you can see, we have a waveform and it is working. So let's just try changing some stuff, something which will work, hopefully. That one, here we go. Right, so changing timings a little bit. So yeah, it is working. If I change the slopes, you know, so those things are working. I've already realigned the knobs so they're all centered properly and things like that, so you know, that was all bugging me. But level, that's working. So yeah, broken wire. That was a bit easier than I was expecting it to be, but I still need to fix this switch somehow. So I'm going to solder the wire back on again and I can put it back together, I suppose, for the time being. So yeah, it's back together again. Obviously needs a good clean up, and I've still got to fix that switch, as I've said a few times now. So I'll do that at a later time. I've got some other projects I want to get onto right now, but I can still activate the switch. I can get through the side of the slot there, stick a pair of tweezers in and move the thing up and down, so it is still usable. It's not like a completely broken. It actually just activates on the PCB. The PCB's got traces on it, so it just runs up and down those traces. So anyway, that's how it works. But the controls seem to work. I've had a bit of a play around with it. This button here, I've hooked that back up. There's a couple of wires which weren't hooked up before. I plugged those back in again. It's just a button, so you can't really get that wrong. Just jolts them together. So it's all good. So let's just have a look at the scope and see what's going on. So there you go, it's away from the scope as I showed before, just to prove it actually working. And so change the levels around. I can activate a switch, but it's a bit tricky. I can do it, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. And also change the the slopes as well, like the rising edge and falling edge, so you make different waveforms with that. So it seems to be working with different timings you can use, which obviously affect the triggering on the scope, but change pulse widths, you know, leading and delays and all those kinds of things. It's all there. So it seems to work fine apart from that original broken wire. So that's pretty awesome. You know, just that little simple thing. It's nice when you get an easy repair like that. Obviously someone's just taken the front panel off and that wire's broken and they haven't noticed, and then they've, as far as they're concerned, then it just doesn't work anymore. So it's just lucky that I happened to see that wire moving around when I was moving the front panel around. If you want to catch more repair videos like this, make sure you subscribe and click on the bell icon to get notifications. And check out the end screens as well, because there's videos there or suggest for you, and there might be things you want to watch there. So catch you later. Thanks for watching.